Dickosaurus Podcast. We apologize in advance for the sound and video quality for this episode. We ran into a few technical difficulties with the echoes of Melissa's mic and the camera dying at the end of this episode. We will do our best to prevent these issues moving forward. Thank you so much for understanding. Trigger warning. In this episode, we talk about infant loss and grief. Viewers' discretion is advised. Okay, Dickosaurs, episode 2.
Dang, y'all in sync still.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all look at each other and then go?
No.
Oh.
It's called rhythm, baby.
Yeah.
Ew. I was giving like, y'all should go for back to back and then go that one challenge where they're like this.
Oh, the
back to
intuition
back.
thingy?
Yeah, and then just go.
Like I said, man, when you put me and Michelle together on Taboo,
We on.
First of all, I think y'all cheat. Y'all cheat. Ain't nobody play
mean-
taboo like y'all.
just saying.
We haven't played that in a while though. Although, didn't they make it harder now? I think.
I think so. That they updated it a little bit,
Yeah.
but then again, like we said, we haven't played it in a while.
Yeah.
Who still has the game?
I think we do.
Huh.
I'll have to look what we
Yeah.
have in our cabinets. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Welcome back to Dickosaurs. Topic for today is therapy. Because I know a lot of women, especially Hmong women, try to steer clear of therapy because they feel like it won't help, or that they will feel weak if they search out for therapy for outside help. This goes with men as well. So we are going to discuss our experiences with therapy, as well as any advice or why you would need therapy. So did y'all want to input first? Anybody else? Or you want me to start off with mine? Actually, you're the one who's been going to therapy the longest.
Oh, yeah.
So you can start. It's not a bad thing.
Yes,
you
it's
know?
not. Well, let's see. Therapy has never been like a foreign thing to me, just because I actually went to school for social work, so I got like the gist of counseling and therapy. But like with every child of immigrant parents, specifically Hmong parents, everybody has trauma that they go through, and so mine is a little unique with some of the stuff that I went through. But I didn't think I had like an issue. I just know that people always, like, growing up, they were always like, why are you so angry, Anna? You're always angry. What's wrong? And then they're like, but what do you need help with? Why are you so angry? And for me, I started therapy fortunately in the height of the pandemic. I just had it. I was upset. I was so unhappy. So I was fortunately able to access free sessions with my employee assistance program, and not sponsored. But I was able to select someone that could help me. And what a lot of people don't know about therapy is it's like going to a doctor. If you don't like that one that you got for your first session, not everybody is like that. And I hope that you guys don't ever go through a bad therapist session, but with someone that doesn't know what they're doing. But you can actually ask for someone that's different. So I already knew that, what to expect, and also like what shouldn't happen, so I don't get taken advantage of. My main thing was I needed someone that was a person of color, because it's kind of hard to explain to a white person
Yeah.
who doesn't have culture about like some of the things that I went through. And then we just started the sessions from there. And it's not an easy thing where you go in your first session and then people think, oh, you solved it by doing like those first couple sessions. No, it's really about getting comfortable and building rapport or trust with your therapist. And they know that too. They go through training like that. They understand that you're not just going to open up and say everything. But I was able to go to therapy because the number one thing I did was I didn't understand myself, and I was so angry all the time. And my main thing was that I just want to know what I like and what I don't like. Why do I not understand myself? So I was able to work things with my therapist and kind of like do a behavioral journal thing where like we can do journal entries and explain, because I get triggered a lot with all the trauma that I have. And so one of the very first assignments that my therapist had me do, was when I'm going through a certain experience, for me to document it, and like not just document what I'm thinking thought wise, but also how I'm feeling, and how and what, if there are any memories that, like, if I have any flashbacks, what are they? And we were able to kind of like connect, oh, you felt like this because I basically didn't feel safe.
Okay.
And so like that made me get triggered, and then like it made things blow up, and like I was like doing this whole self-blame thing. It was not fun. But luckily for me, my therapist, like, she's really good and she advocates for me, and I was able to, so depending on your therapist, they can like say, okay, well, your first couple of sessions that were free are good now, and I think that it would be great if you want to continue using these sessions. And so she was able to get me additional free ones on a different issue, because that's how it worked with the assistance program. So, and then now, just 3 years later, here I am, and I check in with her every chance I can. But we basically built tools for myself, so that way I don't go back into that trigger state where because it's so sad, like when I'm triggered, I immediately become a child, like, and I don't think it, or I don't think that I'm going through that, because like the worst thing that happened to me when I get triggered is all of a sudden I feel small. I feel really, really small, and I'm like this. And you don't know it, but you go like that too, physically.
Wow.
Yeah, like that's how traumatized I am. I go really, 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 really small. Like I will be, because you guys know me as an outgoing person, right?
Yeah, you loud.
Yeah, and I'm really loud, but when I'm triggered on something, I go shut down, and then I go like this, and I'm very, very, very,
Actually,
very
no,
little,
you're
like
right.
that, you know. And then like I don't, and then my therapist was like, can you remember a time in your childhood when you felt the same way? And I was like, yeah. And then I would tell her what happened, and then she's like, yeah, sounds like it's the same thing. And I'm like, oh no. And so the whole thing of it is to not heal yourself. It's like, okay, if that happens again, do you know how to try to make it to where you can kind of get yourself out of that rut before you get that down deep and that at the bottom? So that's what therapy is. It's like, what tools are there to help you so you don't fall down again like that, you know? And if you do fall down, how you know how to get back up. So that's just my little splurge about it for therapy. I love it. I'm an advocate for it, and I wish that more of us would go to therapy, like in the Hmong community, because like we all know, our Hmong men need it. So
Yes, Hmong men do need it, because how else are they going to process whatever it is inside them that's making them angry, making them sad, or even if they don't know what the hell they're feeling, you know? So I'm with you. I do advocate for therapy because I myself is in therapy. Yay. I've been in therapy for maybe the past year and a half, I would say. Yeah. And to be completely honest, I probably needed therapy ever since 2013. I had something very traumatic happen. I actually, I lost a baby. I actually lost two babies, like within a year and a half of each other. So I was going through a ton of emotions and things that I could not even describe or even knew what it was. The only thing I knew is that I was broken, I was empty, and I didn't know how or if I would ever get out of that state because, like relaying what Anna says, I didn't have the tools or the support, know how to move on from that. I mean, I had my family who was there to support me, and I had friends and whatever, but something like that you kind of go through on your own, especially when it's your child. So I should have gone to therapy back then, but I didn't know anything about therapy.
Right.
Hell, I don't think I even realized it existed. To be honest, I knew there was like grief counseling, but I didn't think that was like a therapy. I mean, it is a form of therapy, but what I needed was like therapy because I was a totally different person. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to get out of the house. The only thing that kept me going was my son, Liam. He was my firstborn, and the only reason why I was able to get up every single day was because of him. Because I knew I had to be a mom, I had to take care of him. I couldn't just wallow away and leave my firstborn like alone. Sorry.
It's okay. Never apologize for your emotions.
Yeah, because I would see it like it's not fair to him for him to suffer because I couldn't get a hold of myself. So, but like I said, I didn't know therapy existed at the time, nor did I feel like I needed therapy because I was in so much like denial that I needed therapy. So I kind of just learned to mask everything. So I masked my sadness, I masked my depression, I masked everything that I was feeling because I hated hearing people ask me how I'm doing. And not because it was like annoying. I mean, I did get annoyed at some point, but I knew that it was all for it was good intentions. But of course, with what I was feeling, I didn't see it as good intentions. I just saw it as like people just trying to poke me to get like information.
Like, it's going to make you face your reality?
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't want to face that reality. So I guess in a way, I kind of pushed everything down like to the back of my mind and like deep down to the bottom because I didn't want to feel that hurt anymore. And also I hated them asking because I didn't know how to answer them. Because I know I'm not fine. I know I'm not like I couldn't explain what I was feeling. It's like, how am I supposed to tell you when I don't even know myself? You know, type of thing. So it's just kind of like it got really annoying and depressive whenever that would happen because I didn't know any better, and plus I didn't know of anybody else who had gone through my grief. So I didn't know how to process it, and so years went on. I pushed everything back out of my mind. I would talk about it every now and then because people would ask, what happened. And I found myself being, I guess, comfortable in explaining to them, like, what had happened and why we couldn't save him. Because, like, all of that was just coming out of my mouth, like, paint falling out of a bucket. Like if you had asked me, if friends have asked me, hey, do you mind explaining what happened? I'd be like, yeah, totally. I'd be fine explaining to you. And I would explain it to them as if I had watched a movie and I was just relaying the scene that I saw. And I would realize that whenever I would talk about it like that, I would feel nothing. Not because I was like, not because I moved on or was over it, but because I didn't want to feel anything when I was telling people that. So every time they would ask, I would turn my emotions off and just talk to them like I was explaining a scene of the movie. So again, I didn't seek out therapy for a long time, and then I had my rainbow baby. Rainbow baby, and then with him, I suffered from PPD, postpartum depression. I never got it officially diagnosed because I just didn't think that was it. I just felt really down, sad, and I didn't want to do anything. The baby would like, whenever the baby's upset and crying, I would get upset. Like I was angry all the time, and like Chow and Liam could probably like tell you, like I was angry all the time at home. Like every little thing that would happen, I would just explode because I didn't know how to process it. I honestly didn't know what was going on, what was wrong. So, but I knew that I wasn't right. I didn't feel right because I knew I was angry all the time. I didn't know why I was angry all the time. So, being a Hmong woman, you're taught to, suppress your feelings because, your feelings didn't matter. So, in order to make the household comfortable and calm, I pressed my emotions down again. I packed it away, back of the head, and just kept going on with life. But I knew that deep down, I just wasn't right. Something was missing, something was aloof. Because I knew I would get angry quickly. So years go on, another couple years, and we have my third baby, in 2020. So right in the beginning of the pandemic. So pandemic babies.
Pandemic.
Yeah. So since it was the start of pandemic, and I had a newborn, and we couldn't go anywhere because of the pandemic, it just made it all that more isolating. Because I guess I could have gone out of the house just like for a drive or whatever, but of course I didn't know I had that tool to use or anything. So with the third baby, when I went back for my postpartum checkup after having him, I finally told my doctor how I was feeling, like emotional-wise, like mentally-wise. Like I felt drained all the time. I had no energy, and I was just sad all the time. It's like I was able to do my motherly duties because it's kind of like robotic in a way.
It came like automatically.
Yeah. So I was able to take care of the baby. I was able, feed him, change him, or whatever. But I just felt like I wasn't fully there. So she diagnosed me with like a kind of like a mild case of it, because she says that, I don't feel like you're deep enough in it, but you do have it slightly. So this is when she prescribed me some medications to kind of help me take the edge off of what I'm feeling.
Right.
And so I started on that, and it did get better. I was a lot more calm and more relaxed, I guess you can say. So certain things that used to make me blow up didn't make me blow up as bad. But it still didn't quite help, like fully. I still felt like something was missing. I guess kind of like, I kind of felt like, again, like nobody knew what I was going through because, yeah, because I haven't heard of anybody else around me, like within my peers and stuff, suffering from postpartum depression or any type of depression that would need medication or therapy. I didn't even think of therapy until I went back to my doctor after like a 2-week trial course of the medications, and she asked how I felt, and I said, it's helped. I've even like upped the dose a little bit. She told me I could, because with the type of medication it was, I could like mess around with the dosage as long as I don't surpass two tablets. And when I told her I went up to 2 tablets, she's like, oh, okay, well, you're at, that kind of like
The limit.
yes, the limit of it. And she's like, and you're still feeling, all the emotions that you're feeling, sad, empty, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, every so often, yes, I would still feel like that. And so it was my doctor who referred me to a therapist. And that's the only reason why I went to therapy, is because I was referred to. I would never had like sought out therapy on my own.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't know where to start at all. So I met with my therapist. He's a very, very nice gentleman, very sweet, very soft spoken, which is great because I just don't like loud men. Because it just makes me feel, I guess, kind of like it's a trigger for me. But anyway, but through him, through my therapist and my therapy sessions, I was able to, I guess, talk to an outsider and get like a unbiased opinion. Because whenever I would talk to my husband about it, he would basically just comfort me, and of course he didn't know how else to help or whatever. And then also, like, I didn't want to burden my sisters because it's kind of like, I know they won't be able to help me either, because it's just like, yeah, it's foreign land for them. So whenever I talked to this therapist, like, everything came out. Like, our first session, like, I told him basically everything about my background, my history, like my family history, my family setup, and how we were raised. And as time went on, I let him know about what happened to my babies years ago. And he asked me do I feel like I was responsible? I was like, oh yeah, yes, I know that I felt like I was responsible for it, because I couldn't do anything to save my baby. It was my body my body betrayed me, and instead of being like a safe house for my child, it became the opposite. And he ended up coming early and wasn't viable enough to, stay alive. And I would blame myself because, again, nobody has had that experience in my family. Like, there's no record, there's no history or anything of what my body went through that anyone else has gone through. So, of course, I'm going to sit there and blame myself because it's my body, So, so I was like, I of course, 100% feel like it's my fault. And I feel like I feel like I'm a little better about it. I'm starting to give myself more grace for it after all these years, because the more I think about it, the more I realize, like, yeah, there was really nothing you could do because you didn't know what the hell was going on. And he would help me realize this by giving me tools, telling me to get to a quiet place and just kind of meditate a little bit, deep breaths and whatnot. And he said he helped me realize the way I handle grief and stuff like that is probably from the way we were raised.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like our feelings didn't matter, so we just kept it to ourselves. And the fact that I'm always putting other people first is because, since I'm the oldest and I'm a girl, that's what was taught to me. I pretty much raised all my siblings because I was...
Same.
Yeah, being the oldest girl in the Hmong family, you don't have siblings, you have kids.
Yeah.
You have kids that you take care of, you babysit or whatever while your parents are busy doing adult stuff.
Yes.
So I pretty much didn't really have a childhood because I was too busy making sure my siblings didn't die of anything.
They were fed, they're clothed,
and all that stuff. So all that kind of relates to how I process trauma. I keep it to myself. It's not fun. It's not right to do that. Therapy taught me that, and my therapist also told me that it's okay to be selfish sometimes. Because I have a very hard time thinking of myself because I've done nothing but think of others my whole life. Like the whole going through grief after losing my first baby, I shoved that aside, to take care of Liam, my firstborn. And so I never really was able to process all that grief. And, I never really processed that grief, didn't know what it was to me. I never understood grief because it's a hurt, it's a pain that will never go away. That's for sure. It's a void that will forever be there. You can't fill it. But I guess it's more of I remember seeing something on Facebook, grief is just another version of love. It's just that person is not there to give your love to. Therefore, your love overflows and you're emotionally just full, and it just kind of runs over the cup type thing. So I'm trying to keep it the thoughts of that because, it's been years, and I wouldn't say that it's time for me to move on because, that's something that's your decision.
Right.
So I'm still in therapy, still finding out things about myself.
Therapy.
But it definitely helps to have someone talk you and help analyze things to help you understand yourself more, especially when you don't understand yourself or others. So it does help open your eyes a little bit of different perspectives. So, and it also helps that you have an advocate for yourself, because no one really advocates for yourself for you, when it comes to feelings or whatever. You would have your significant other, but they kind of just say things to kind of make you feel better.
They're biased. So.
Yes, they're biased to you. Or if you seek help for in elders, they're biased to their generational education stuff or whatever that they grew up with. So it doesn't help at all. So to have a third person who is unbiased to see into your life is great. It's very eye-opening, and you'd be surprised at how many light bulbs comes on whenever you're talking to somebody who doesn't know you. So yeah, like I said, I'm still in therapy. I'm also on medications as well. I support medications to a limit. I feel like if it helps you, great. If it doesn't, then that's fine too. But yeah, I am on medications. It helps with my mood quite a bit. It keeps me out of, depressive states. But yeah, but you have to you would have to seek out therapists for yourself for whatever it is that you're going through, because there are different therapists for different needs. You know, whether you need for grief, whether you need for family counseling, couples counseling, or just in general individual counseling. So there's different types out there. So just reach out. Even if you don't think you need that much of help, just speaking to somebody might open your eyes a bit and make you realize that maybe you do need therapy, because it helps you become a better you. That's what therapy is for. So
Oh. Probably when you start with a trigger warning at the beginning of this episode. Trigger warning, you can say it so she can cut it.
Trigger warning about infant loss.
And grief.
And grief. So.
Viewer discretion advised.
Yeah, for real. We got to put that up in the beginning.
Oh, well, I didn't know that you went through all that.
Well, like I said, it was all how we were raised.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to trouble anybody with how I was feeling, because, you know, we were taught our feelings don't matter, and I didn't want to burden anybody with what I was feeling. And it also hurt too, because what is it? When you're in grief like that and you have like a significant other, and sometimes seeing them go day to day as if like they're already moved on, it hurts. It hurts really bad in the beginning, but you also need to realize that they're dealing with it their own way. But of course, when you're blinded by your own grief and stuff, you
don't see that.
You don't see that. So that causes a lot of friction in relationships too. Yeah. So again, that's another reason to get therapy. That way you learn the tools of how to communicate and help resolve things. Because, I struggled for a long time.
You struggled over almost a decade then.
Yeah. Yeah. I've struggled for, like a decade, because I didn't know what to do.
Well, we are glad that you seeked help. So.
Yeah, me too, because, hell, I don't know how I would be right now if I didn't go to therapy. To be honest, it's like, if I didn't go to therapy, I would probably be a lot of, like, issues and, like, friction within my family, thinking about it now. Because I remember when I was pregnant with my third. Was it my third? Was it Jensen? Yeah, it was. Wait. Yes, Jensen. I was also very angry during pregnancy. I was so mean. I was like a mean pregnant woman. Like I had no patience whatsoever. I would say nasty things to Chow, my husband, and I would also treat Liam horribly too, because that was pandemic time and we were doing virtual schooling, so it would frustrate me when he didn't understand something, even though it's like right there in front of him. So I would like explode at him, like how our dad used to explode at us,
right,
for not understanding something. Yeah, and I think that's also what opened my eyes too, was like, oh my god, I'm acting like my dad. You know, and I remember telling myself that I would not treat my kids the way my dad treated us, but yet here I am at that point being him.
yeah,
And I was so pissed at myself, because it's like I wondered, like, did my dad see this or feel this at all whenever he would get angry with us the way I saw it in Liam's eyes whenever I did that to him. So it was just kind of like, yeah, did my dad not feel anything? Did he feel the same way? Because I felt,
I'm pretty sure he did.
because I felt like shit afterwards.
Pretty sure he felt that way, but since Hmong men, I mean, you talk about Hmong women not being pushing their feelings aside. Hmong men, their feelings are non-existent.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure he just kind of felt bad, and then he just did what he knew what to do to make up, or what he thought was making up.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. But yeah, during that whole pandemic time, I was a mean ass bitch. I was bitchy, and I you know, I owned that because whenever I'm in therapy with my therapist and I talk about that part, it's kind of like, damn, I was a bitch during that whole time, and I know half of it's like pregnancy hormones, but also the other half is just you know trauma and being stressed, and anxiety was through the roof, because of my medical history and stuff like that. So it was just not easy at that time. But yeah, going to therapy, being on medication has helped me a ton.
Yeah.
So I highly, highly recommend it and encourage it to all of our Hmong sisters and brothers. Sometimes it might be too late for your parents, but it is not too late for you, yourself, because it'll help heal stuff.
Yeah, and I also want to say that you don't have to go to therapy because you feel like something is wrong with you. I mean, you can still,
That's right.
yeah, just go to therapy, just because, if you want to, an unbiased view of something, then there's that too.
There's usually people that think that there's nothing wrong with them that do need
Yeah.
therapy, though.
Yeah, yeah,
So just go just because to kind of like entertain the idea,
yeah.
and then
just
you'll be
see.
surprised.
There's some people who use time as an excuse too, like not having time to go, and it's like you can't use that excuse because they do virtual appointments.
Yep.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
You know.
and there are some therapists who do weekend appointments too.
Yes.
Yeah.
They will work with you, is what it is.
Yes, they will work with you to help you be the best you.
Yeah.
It's like it's okay to ask for help. It's like you go to the regular doctor when you're feeling sick or whatever. So who do you go to when you feel sick mentally?
Yeah.
A therapist.
Therapists have therapists.
Yes,
They do.
They
They
Yeah,
have
it's
to. They have to do
It's
that.
okay.
But don't feel bad that you're unloading whatever your issues or questions, whatever you're going through, onto them, because they already have those tools, so they know how to unpack that. So I wouldn't, because I know some people would feel bad even telling what they're going through, because they're like, well, I'm just basically unloading all my baggage onto them. They're like, well, don't worry about them. They have tools. They know how to, unload your baggage that you gave to them in a healthy way.
Yes. They have, the experience, the navigation, the education for it. It's what they do. So use them. They're there for a reason. They give you wonderful tools on how to deal with certain things, to heal some stuff, and just understand yourself better, or understand the people around you who are triggering you. It'll help you to understand them as well. That it's not you, it's them.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. But most of the times it's us.
Yeah, sometimes it's you, sometimes it's them. But that's what therapy is for, to kind of open your eyes to both perspective.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll help you move on and be a better person. But yeah, that's my spiel. Took up the most time.
It's okay.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
That was a heavy subject to
talk about.
So
Yeah.
you need to take all the time that you need.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know with me, I currently do not have a therapist, but I did go to therapy with our employee assistance program. I felt like I had like a mental blockage. So I decided to go. Now, I'm gonna be honest, it was hard for me to go. Like all the resources were there for me, but then it was just hard for me to go because I felt like, again, I felt like I was a nuisance, you know. I felt like I already know what's wrong with me, so why should I go to a therapist when I already know what's wrong with me,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I had that mentality going in. But I went anyways, just to, I guess, to say, like, Melissa, you really need help. Like, like, you need help. And so I finally, went. I got a therapist. I'm not currently with her anymore. My sessions were done with her, but she did reach out again saying that if I wanted to continue with her, I can. But if not, she's going to recommend some therapists to me. Personally, she was a good therapist for a first-time therapist, but I also feel like she's not the one for me. I think it's just because fulfilling-wise, I didn't really feel fulfilled with her, or I just felt like we just didn't click.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think I may find a different therapist to go to.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, so that's what I'm still struggling to do, try to find somebody. But yeah, going to therapy was different because, you know, when you talk to somebody, I don't know about you guys, but like when you talk to like a new stranger or something, you kind of put on
You have a wall.
a wall, you know, so you put on your fake face, your work face, you know, your work face and your work voice,
Yeah.
you know, kind of thing. And so, yeah, it was hard the first couple times going to her, you know, because she would always, you know, ask me how my day's going, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it was fine, when, you know, in reality, it's not, you know. And so I know for me, again, I struggle with self-love for myself. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
It's okay. This is definitely an episode for tissues. So,
Yeah.
if you're crying along, grab a tissue.
Yeah, so, this is what we talked about in therapy too. I don't express my feelings a lot, and I suppress my feelings a lot. And so for me, it's hard for me to cry like this in person. A lot of times I would just, you know, go back somewhere, you know, in my room and then do it, you know, quietly, but doing it in front of people like this, it's hard for me. Even though I'm like a huge crybaby. If anybody cries, I cry. You know, but when it comes to my stuff, yeah, I suppress my feelings a lot. You know, because again, I feel like I don't matter. I don't have a lot of self-confidence with myself. You know, and it's just the way that, again, we grew up. It was a lot of, now that I think about it, like I haven't talked to my therapist about it, but like sometimes I'll sit there with myself and like figure out why I act the way that I do. And then sometimes I'll like think back and then I'm like, damn, Melissa, that's the reason why. You know, like that was very traumatic for you. That's why you are how you are, you know. For instance, I found this out recently, or I thought about it. Like, a lot of the reasons why I'm not so social anymore, because I remember back in elementary, I was very social. You know, I had a lot of friends. I was very social. And then 6th grade hit, right? 6th grade was kind of like that weird middle school years, you know? And so, in 6th grade, the way our school systems are set up, in 6th grade, they put all of the schools that's in the district. In elementary school, there's multiple schools, right, for elementary. But for 6th and 7th grade, it was just one. So all the schools, 6th graders in those schools come into this one school.
Right.
So there you have like multiple kids of different schools that you've never met before. And so for me, I think the way that they do stuff is that within the 6th grade, they split all the kids up in what they call pods. So that way it's easier to, I guess, teach kids, you know? So they put them in pods. Me thinking, like now, I'm pretty sure those pods were based on, like, your academic scores on your tests, okay?
Wow.
I think so. I theorize that because now that I'm thinking about it, none of my kids from my school was in my pod.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest here, in elementary school, I was a pretty smart kid. To where, like, my reading level was, like, already high school, college level already. Because they would, you know, do those reading tests,
Yeah.
you know? And so they would be like, Melissa, your level's too high for any of these books.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. But they're like, here, read this book anyway. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I think, yeah, those pods are based on your academic, you know,
Scores.
And so when I went into 6th grade, I was the only Asian person, only person from my school in that pod. So I was with a bunch of white kids, okay? And so it was hard for me to make friends because, again, I don't know anybody, and they were very, like, preppy white kids. And so for the whole sixth grade, I was by myself. Sorry.
Oh my God.
What did I
poor
say
baby.
earlier? I said don't apologize for feeling it.
Yeah,
One of the things they teach in therapy is feel what you're feeling. Stop trying to avoid it. It's like
I know.
walking in the rain and trying to cover yourself with your hands. So feel it.
Yeah, so I think in 6th grade, that's when it was very traumatic. Now that I think about it, it's very traumatic. For like a whole year, I was by myself, you know? And I think at that time, too, I think Michelle, I think she was doing her own thing. And so even at home, I felt alone, you know? And so I spent a lot of times with my mom. And again, it was just that weird stage where you're becoming a teenager kind of thing. And I just felt alone and left out. And then I think from then on, I think that's when I kind of stopped being sociable. It kind of just stopped, you know? And I think that's a lot of it set in to where, like, again, like, you didn't really matter. Because literally, no,
You were
you
by
didn't
yourself.
matter. Yeah. And so it was just very traumatic, again, that I thought of the other day. And I was like, dang, listen, that's why you scared of white people. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it's hard for me to, you know, make friends. That's why it's hard for me to make friends, is because of that. Or sometimes when I do make friends, or when I do make or meet new people to become friends or whatever, they always push me off. Like, I'm not important, I
Enough.
guess you can say. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it would be like, I'll meet these people, like, at a party, or, like, I'll hang out with them, like, multiple times, you know? And then when I actually see them in person again, like, maybe, like, a year or two later,
They'll act like they don't know you.
yeah.
And I'm just like, well, bitch, really? Like, I slept at your house like 10 damn times. You know?
You know, when that happens, I just feel like they weren't meant to be your friends.
Right, yeah. Which, again,
So,
now being me, I'm just kind of like, I wasn't, like, fine, okay, I guess if that's how you want to be, then fine. But that's why with me, it's hard for me to make friends. It's hard for me to be sociable. I mean, like, I didn't really think about it, but at work, one of our ladies there, she's like, Melissa, you know, you talk really well. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? And she's like, you just talk really well. Like, you're a people person. You know, because that's what your job is, you know, you talk a lot and stuff like that. And so she's like, I don't see why people would disregard you because you talk, you know. And I'm just like, I don't know. And then now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just like, it's because all this trauma. You know. And then even now with just trying to make new friends, it's hard because I end up saying like, oh my god, hi, nice to meet you, and then the next time I see them, I don't even like bother to reach out to them because I'm like, I already know what you're gonna say. You're gonna be like, who are you again? Or when did we meet? You know, or I don't remember, kind of thing. And I'm just like, bitch, how do you not remember me? But
you're jaded because while you yourself are a genuine person, like you genuinely want to be friends with someone, it just sucks because not everybody is as genuine as you are.
yeah,
You know, and that's what jades us from wanting to make friends, because I'm the same way.
yeah.
You know, if I'm gonna be your friend, I'm gonna be your friend. You know.
Yeah. Sailor Moon taught me how to be friends, okay?
Yeah, you know, and it just sucks that there's people out there who won't match your energy. You know, like your genuality. I don't know. I don't think that's a word.
Your genuineness, or
I guess like your genuineness kind of turns them off because maybe they've never had it before, so they're just kind of like,
They're like, oh my
ew.
God, what is
or
that?
they had
Yeah.
it, but then it was fake. I've always thought about this with people is like when they they are nice to an extent, and I guess people are just people need to be kind,
Yeah.
and people aren't used to that, so they think that when someone's being kind that they're
being
being
fake.
fake.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sorry you went through all that.
Yeah, which, like I said, I didn't realize it either, or like how bad it like impacted me until like the other day, and I was like, oh my god, Melissa, this is why you can't really connect with white people, like, for some reason. Because sometimes at work, I'm kind of like, why can't I connect with some of my coworkers? Because I feel like it's me and my African American coworkers that get along better, like, you know, my
Minorities.
bosses. Yes, and so like I'm like, okay, I can connect with you better. But for some reason, when it comes to white American people, I'm just like, I don't know how to connect with you. Like, there's that like.
You have that trauma. Yeah, you have that trauma wall up because
Yeah.
of what you experienced. So you just see them as not nice people.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm just like, I never thought about it, but it's just, yeah, it was just hard for me to like connect with them, and I just couldn't understand why or how, you know, until I really thought about it, and I was like, oh, that's probably why, is because those white kids were not nice to you growing up,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, like, it wasn't like they said mean things to me, it was just more of, I'm guessing that pod was already from like another school, so they already friends
each
to
other.
begin with,
Yeah.
Oh.
you know? So yeah, I wasn't bullied. Let me put that out there. I wasn't bullied by them.
They kind of just kept to themselves.
But you know
Yeah.
that's like how things work socially. Like
Yeah.
they talk about it. If there's a group of people, basically like a society, for some reason, humanity or human beings always have to find a tier system. They always create a tier system, so there's always some type of outcast. So, and I'm not giving an excuse to those kids, but that's usually how it is.
Yeah.
So somebody was going to be an outcast one way or another.
Yeah.
That actually made a light bulb go off in my head. Do you think it's probably due to how adults are nowadays, where they say you are who you hang out with? So therefore, the reason why there's so many outcasts is because those outcasts just don't measure up to like the education level of that group, and therefore that group leaves that person
Yeah.
to find, because adults are always saying, find you friends who will help you be successful or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that kind of contributes to it a bit, because it just teaches you, be with people who are successful, and you'll be successful in life, even if that means leaving your friend to be the outcast because they can't measure up, type of thing. So put that your little tier thingy there. So it's kind of like, I mean, it's different for you because, like you said, they already had their little group of friends. So
Right. Yeah.
and that's hard, just being the new person to like get into that circle and be loved the same as everybody else. So it's it's sad, it sucks, it's mean. That's why, like Anna says, there needs to be more kindness in the world, and us women, we're just super kind, and we like new people, but we're just so traumatized or like jaded, like I said, from the past, that it doesn't work out that way.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's something that I've realized within myself recently, to where I'm like, okay, Melissa, you need to go back to therapy. Yeah, because with my previous therapist, she was like, I have an assignment for you. Every day, write down 3 things that you think that you did well on today. I couldn't do it.
Aww.
You did your job well. Ow.
And sometimes I heard like it could just be something simple, like you got up for the
Yeah.
day.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't understand.
I wish I could hug you from over here, but Molly's in the way.
Hug you with my polar bear arms.
Yeah. Oh, I keep hitting my
Yeah, like, she gave that assignment to me, and I sat there for like a good hour or 2, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I do well. I just do it, and so I'm like, I don't know. And then I got to the point where I had to ask her, like, give me examples,
Yeah.
And then she's like, just getting up is one. Like not calling into work, because sometimes I do that where if I'm not feeling well mentally, I'll just call in. And so she would be like, yeah, just getting up counts. See, like even now I'm having problems thinking of stuff.
Did you eat more than 2 times today? That's a good one too.
Oh,
Because I know you don't eat that much,
yeah.
You drank water today, right?
No.
Like that
Well,
one
we're just
time I
saying
caught
like
her-
simple
Yeah.
things like this. Yes.
Yeah, just simple things. Yeah, I couldn't even think of it. Yeah, and I struggled with it, and then I started to do it a little bit more and more and more, and then I got into the habit to where I was able to identify them beforehand before I wrote it down. And so she was like, she's like, see, this is what I need you to keep doing
Oh.
for yourself. And she's like, you're lucky that I was nice and I gave you just 3. Sometimes I give people like 10 or 20 items that you need to list.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, for me. And I'm like, that's hard. And she's like, I know. That's why I gave you 3. You know?
Good job.
And so, yeah.
That's something
So
you do
proud of
good.
you.
Yeah.
You were able to fill in the 3 spots.
Splat.
Splat. Monole.
I totally understand you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to relate this back to it being trauma as well, because we were never praised
Yeah.
when we were kids. So we don't know what that looks like, what that feels like, what it sounds like. So even if we were doing something really well, we wouldn't know,
Yeah.
you know? So, or if someone did compliment us or gave us praise, we don't know how to receive it.
I'm like, yeah, thanks.
God, that
I
explains
guess.
why Mike's the way he is.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know how, even to this day, for me, I don't know how to take compliments very well.
Yeah.
I'm sure this applies to all of us. You know, we don't take compliments well. We don't.
We think that you're kidding. Like, what?
It's like, what's that?
Yeah.
You know, we just brush it off. Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
So if it's since we don't know what to do with it, it often sounds like we don't appreciate it. It's not that we do appreciate it. We just don't know how to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
Say
just
that.
thought of Mike's face because, like, when
Yeah.
I would compliment him, he would just act like I didn't say it.
yeah, it's kind of like you get a gift and you're just like, what is it? You know, it's like, what do I do with it?
Yeah.
But, like,
so-
deep down, you're like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get something that you've always wanted, but then you don't know how to react.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Aw.
definitely trauma.
Well, and that is why girls, we need therapy.
Yeah.
So,
And to lift each other up.
yes.
And to tell each other how much we love each other, how proud we are of each other. You know, because like if we're not gonna get it from anybody else, you might as well get it from your sisters or close friends or whomever.
Whoever your support system is.
You know, I'm glad to say that, like, within my marriage, we've worked on that as well. So I've been receiving compliments a little bit better.
Oh my God. Literally the opposite of us.
Yeah, it's really good when you have that significant other who can bounce off the same energy, or at least help work with it. You know,
Right.
so
That's good.
But yeah, with me, I'm just learning my whole self-love. Like for me, I feel like I don't know what exactly my love languages are,
Yeah.
because as I was telling, I don't know if I told you guys about it, but I forgot who I said it to, but you know, since we grew up in a Christian Hmong family, we always served people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if that's my love language or that's just the way that I was taught how to love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. That's right.
And so I don't know if I like that or not. But like for I was like, for me personally, for some weird reason I tend to do this is like gift giving, when like for me to you, if I really like you, I'm gonna buy something for you that like reminds me
that's a love
of you.
language.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be what you receive.
Right.
It's what you
do
give.
is what you give. as well.
Right.
That's what your love language is.
Right.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so like I know me personally, that's what I like to do is I will buy you something that reminds me of you. Is probably something stupid like candy or like your favorite candy or something that you like, then I'll like buy it for you. You know? But like me personally, like if someone's trying to court me, I don't know.
I think your
Your-
I think your love language is
gifts.
gifts and words of affirmation.
But you can tell
Probably.
if it was a genuine gift, I think you would appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's not like I mean, it could be candy because for you, you know, it's not materialistic. But if you know that person knew that you had like a hard day and they got you like your favorite candy without prompting, that's a good gift. I know that you would appreciate that.
Yeah, I probably would, yeah.
See?
Yeah, I think yes, I agreed. The act of gift giving, I think that's one of your love languages. Because I think about how you are, and I don't think I feel like quality time is not your main suit because you're probably just good by yourself sometimes, and then physical touch. I don't think you're that lovey-dovey touching, like always needing somebody to touch you or hug you. But I don't know. I could be
But
wrong.
then again, I feel like I feel like with you guys it's different because I'm trying to think of the times when I had like a boyfriend.
It's
What
different.
I was needing from them.
Quality time.
Because I know, like, when me and that idiotic dude was, long distance, of course, because of that, it was a lot of just quality time. Like, I don't need you to be, like, there talking to me all the damn time, but I just want to
you
be
present.
there. Yeah.
Well, that's not fair to gauge your love language by that, though,
Right?
because he couldn't even meet the basic needs. So that's
Yeah.
I wouldn't use that as a way to gauge it. So
Yeah, so I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like you need somebody who would voice their love for you often.
Yeah, I think I am words of affirmation a lot.
Yeah, I feel like you need to hear that. So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know a whole lot of my love languages.
that's okay.
Or just of yourself in general.
Yeah.
Which is fine, that's what life is for, what therapy is for.
Right.
And then once you feel better enough after therapy, we'll help you find a man who will speak his love to you. That'd be so
Yeah.
fun.
That's why, like, right now, I'm like, I don't
Finding
really
a man.
care for dudes right now. Okay? Like, I'm already, like, messed up in the head right now to where I'm more.
They're gonna think you crazy.
Yeah, it's like.
Right now, you are
I'm more.
gonna attract the needy. Remember,
Yeah.
like what I say?
Yeah.
No.
Nah, I don't need that. I'm already needy. I don't need that right now. Yeah, I just need me right now, okay?
Well, we wish you the best on your search for a good therapist
And self-love.
and self-love, self-healing, because we all need it.
It's an ever-changing thing. Also, don't stick to the love languages too much because actually it's
It
changes over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, mine changed over time, definitely.
Yeah.
So it's just a guideline. Yeah. So
Well, for you, Molly,
Yeah, Molly.
what do you think about therapy?
Yeah, what's your
I mean,
opinion?
there's nothing bad about therapy because since I'm not in therapy yet, but
Yet? Ooh, I'm hopeful
I mean, I've
for
thought
you.
about it, but I've thought about it, but I was just like, I'm gonna wait because I don't think I'm ready to go.
Okay.
So
and that's fine.
The fact that you know that you're not ready, that's some awareness that you should be proud of.
yeah, so yeah, I'm just not ready. But I mean, it's not like therapy's not scary or anything. It's just I'm just not ready to go yet.
You're not ready to face your demons, as they say.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not ready yet.
it's okay. It's understandable. It's hard. It's really hard to talk about it. Like, people think that, it's just people talking. It's hard to communicate what you're feeling.
It's hard to be vulnerable.
It is. It is
Yeah.
very hard.
Especially to a complete
stranger.
stranger.
A random person. Yeah.
That's why they know that they have to build support with you, and they know that it will take more than just a measly 5 or like 6 sessions. It could take like a whole year, So yeah, whenever you're ready, I'm hoping that maybe like within the next 2 years or something for you, because
I actually have to look to see if I think my work does, but I
Yes.
have to look at it.
a lot were actually during the pandemic. A lot of employers were paying free therapy. So
I do know that they would have like daily newsletters just to check like on your mental health and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I was like, oh, how nice.
so
See it? Because
Yeah.
like, usually when I see it, I'm busy.
hopefully you do it then in the
Yeah.
next 2 years at least.
Oh yeah, that's a
For
good
me-
resource too for therapy. Is through your work sometimes. Because I know when Chow was working for BOK, they would have that too.
The employee assistance thing.
Yes, employee assistance thing.
It's so good.
Yeah, and it goes for not only the employee but like their spouse.
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever, too.
Spouse
That too.
independence. Yeah.
Mike and I, we were able to get couples therapy free
Oh, that's
through the
good.
employee assistance program, or like if you guys did have it and you think like Liam or Rowan would need it, you guys could get it
Yeah.
for him. So
Yeah.
for free.
Yeah, so check into that if you don't know where to start. Check with your workplace. Maybe they offer something like that.
I think they did the year before. I don't know about now since they kind of changed everything. So I probably did double check.
It's just like what Michelle said with like doctors thing. So you should be able to just like find a resource to help you find
Right.
like get a good therapist. Yeah.
Alrighty. This wraps up our therapy session. Quite literally. Well, to our listeners, we hope this conversation that we had opened up your eyes, your mind, your ears a little bit more to therapy, about what therapy is and what it can do for you. We hope that you find what you need to heal, to move on, to make yourself better for yourself. So, yes, we definitely advocate therapy. And I hope you guys learned something or got a little piece of information out of our sob fest that we have here. So that's what therapy is, just talking and bouncing ideas out that look like it's full.
Oh.
Oh no! Did you just stop
Yeah, it just
It's
stopped
just
now.
now. But anyway, we'll see you next time from the Thickosaurs.
Yay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.